Hey, Dewey here. Back on the live stream once again. It is Friday. Wow, yahoo! Still got a busy week left. We're off to do a little filming for an ongoing documentary project that we're working on. We have that going this afternoon, so that's going to be where I'm off to spend my time. But I did want to say real briefly, we're looking to do something for Mother's Day. We're looking to get people whose mothers are no longer here to give us, well, what would you say to your mom if she were here? What do you feel like she would need to hear about where you are in your life and her place in your life, or anything else you would say? I guess I don't need to tell you what you would say to your mom. What would you say to your mom if she were still here? So that's what we're project that we're looking at. If it's something you want to do, please reach out to me by messenger, email. Best email is Duey, D-U-E-Y, at ekhmedia.com. It's Dewey at ekhmedia.com. And I will tell you the best way to get us video file that you could shoot on your phone, certainly a camera if you have one. And so that's something that we're working on and we're busy pulling together. What I want to talk to you about today, though, was about something I was talking about yesterday. Yesterday was about learning zone and being in your learning zone versus in your comfort zone and not being overwhelmed. And I talked about, working on something until you reached a certain level of competency. And I felt like it was important to kind of take a step back and talk about competency and the various levels of competency which exist. And it is kind of a four-quadrant progression as you go through it. So that very first place is where you are unconsciously incompetent. And so what that looks like is bliss. I'm not good at something, but I have zero awareness of not being good at it. So therefore, I'm happy as anybody, anywhere. And then something happens along the way where we gain a level of awareness that our standards are not up to par. And so then we move to that next place, which is called consciously incompetent. Now I'm not good and I know that I'm not good, and I can either throw myself a pity party or I can look at it as an opportunity. And that opportunity is, oh, wow, I found something that if I work at it, I can be better at, I can increase my skill set and be better. That's what we choose to do. That's what being in your learning zone is. The other place, well, I don't even know, because I don't think any of us choose to admit that we don't want to get better at something when we know we are not good at it. Though probably the most frustrating thing that can happen is knowing you're not good at something, very much desiring to be better at something, yet feeling hopeless that there is no way to move you across that bridge from here to the other side. And the other side here, the third quadrant, is what we would refer to as being consciously competent. So now I have the skills, I can do something. However, I have to think about it when I do it. The way I've often thought about this in my coaching world was I could do physical training workouts with players I coached at a pretty good level. As a matter of fact, I would say at a very good level. But the difference between what it would take for me to pull off that training session and what it would take someone who did that all the time is I have to think about every single thing that I'm doing all along the process. I have to think about the plan. I have to think about the execution. I have to look and say what is good, so therefore, and almost too good, so I need to take that progression to the next step versus where is someone actually fumbling, and therefore I need to have an appropriate regression to be able to train an aspect where someone needs to improve in order to just be able to do the exercise, whatever that happens to be. So being consciously competent is about, I can do something, but I have to think about it when I'm doing it. Ultimately, where we want to get to is to where we become in that fourth quadrant, where we become unconsciously competent at something. An unconscious competency is what we do when we talk. It's what we do when we walk. I mean, think about trying to explain to somebody how you walk or how you talk. How do you take the brain signals and actually make your lips move and your tongue move? Definitely make your legs move. But there was a time when we were all unconsciously incompetent, consciously incompetent, and consciously competent at walking and talking. And that kind of comes from being a baby. And we don't stop while we're learning to do those things. We just keep going. We blah, 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 blah. Try to say mama, try to say dada, try to walk and fall down. We'll try to stand up and fall down. But then we reach a point where we don't have to think about it anymore. And so unconscious competency is where we can do something. We don't even necessarily know how we did it. And to explain it to somebody else would require us going back and reconstructing it step by step and thinking about it. So most of the things that we do in our daily lives, writing, talking, walking, we do at an unconscious level of competency. Ultimately, when we're training things in our learning zone is where we are in those two quadrants at the top. I am consciously incompetent. I am consciously competent. So, and from there, once we move into that level of unconscious competency, that is a place where we are now in our comfort zone. And when we start doing things, and it's like, oh wow, I just did that. So you kind of have that moment, I did it. And you realize that you did it, how it felt, but you weren't thinking about it when you did it. That's a signal that, okay, it's moved into that fourth quadrant, and now it's time to go pick something else on the other half of the chart and concentrate our energies on it. So that's what I have to say about competency. If you like this video and you'd like to see more about them, well, hit that like button, subscribe, hit notification, because I'm going to keep doing them. I promised I'm going to do these kinds of things every day and hopefully give good information that can help you along in your journey, because I've been a coach since forever. And a coach comes from the word which originally was a vehicle which moved the aristocracy from where they were to where it is they wanted to go. And so they would hop in and they would ride in a coach, whether it was people carrying it or horses pulling it, that type of thing. So that was a coach. That's what I am. I'm someone who likes to help people get from where they are to where it is they want to go. So, going to keep doing these. I'll see you tomorrow. Or, yeah, I'm going to still do this tomorrow, so I hope you come back. But if you're taking the weekend to spend with family, with friends, to go off and get away from the technology, more power to you. Then I'll see you Monday. Either way, peace.